I also like to give a brief, very brief historical background. When I say brief, I mean indeed brief, of how did we get to where we are today. Laws are there for us to abide by, to make sure that we as individuals don't behave as if we can do whatever we feel when we feel like. Laws are made for the people. And there are times when, of course, as guidelines, they have to be amended. At times, you even have to come up with new laws. Because of why, Madam Chair? Because people's behavior change during the course of years or a century, where forever laws have to be adopted or changed in order to deal with the behaviors of people. Madam President, why did I say a little brief history? On September the 30th, a motion of no confidence was passed against the Council of Ministers. Article 33 states in our Constitution, if a minister no longer enjoys the confidence of the Parliament, he shall surrender his office. I repeat, if a minister no longer enjoys the confidence of the Parliament, and in that case, it was the Parliament of 8, which is more than enough to form the majority. If that minister no longer enjoys the confidence of the Parliament, it did not say that he may or he might. It says he shall surrender his office. Madam Chair, when this discussion came up, I got several calls, and someone referred me to point 3 of the same article, which states more detailed rules concerning paragraph 2 of this article may be imposed on the national ordinance. Now, I don't know how many dictionaries you know about, or how many translations, interpretations you know about, but I need to know what the word may means, because I've told it had to be done. But it says here, maybe, in other words, Article 33.2 is what's in force. And Madam Chair, I'll jump to our favorite Article 59, where immediately afterwards, the minister at the time, Prime Minister, who said that he was shocked that we did not first ask them questions. When we tried to find out the security contract, we were told non-disclosure clause. When we were supposed to find out about the GB issue, we were told non-disclosure clause. When it came to the ZBEC issue, where it was said that the government did not know that a piece of land that ZBEC was getting had already belonged to the Caribbean Cruise Line. They didn't know that. So what happened, Madam Chair, is that ZBEC invested $1 million, and they ended up, because it was said by the former government that if this matter drags on, it's going to cost us time and money. So in order to save us time and money, we invested $1 million, and ZBEC got out how much? $10 million. Not a bad investment. $1 million invested, and they got $10 million. That's on the record. Let anyone say that's not so. And then you're still going to ask us why we tell you have to go home. The Simon Housing Foundation, they can't touch that. So what I'm saying, Madam Chair, is that the reason we are here in the Electoral Council today is because of all these things that started this process. And therefore, I have to remind the people, Madam Chair, as to how we got to this point.
This year, the Ombudsman invited MP Christophe Emmanuel and myself to an anti-corruption conference in Curacao. And during that conference, we were talking about corruption and especially elections and political parties. And it was such a proud moment to share with them that in St. Martin we have an electoral council. And a lot of countries, you'd be amazed, don't have such an electoral council to put the necessary checks and balances in place. So it was a good opportunity, Madam Chair, Chair Lady, to share with the others that they can also do something in this, set up an electoral council. So that was a good step in the right direction. Madam Chair Lady, the people are so confused. And, you know, it's amazed me to see where some of them are even laughing and saying, what really are we really busy with? As a representative of the people, we are here to be open, to educate, and also inform our people about the right ways of going about if it's going to be election or not election. We are not here to confuse the people. We are here to be open and transparent with the people's business. Madam Chair, Chair Lady, I only have 3 questions I would like to ask the Electoral Council. My first question is, please explain to the people of St. Martin. Now, a lot of them they are not familiar how the process. What is the process, qualifications of parties to participate in an election? Please explain them. Also, I would like the Electoral Council, if they have any advice, and I heard my other fellow MPs mention it before, with regards to electoral reform. My third question, I would like to know if the Electoral Council can indicate approximately how much it will cost in paying ex-politicians after each election. On the basis of the law on paying politicians after they are out of office. Those are my 3 questions, Madam Chair Lady. And as I stated in closing, I would like the Electoral Council to continue doing the good works and also to raise the bar for all other political parties. Because you have, and this is what it's all about. Because the first thing they say, here you have Maurice Lake jump ship. I don't believe Maurice Lake can send jump ship. Maurice Lake take a stand to raise the bar and let's take it to a different level. And I see where you have other new political parties take that stand also. Because it's easy to criticize, but when you as people of St. Martin, you can come together and take a stand to take it to a different level. And I appreciate all of them, and I wish them well. And election or no election, we should be ready to better serve St. Martin.
Bob, I can understand why you're parking so carefully. Of course, when you can get 80% discount on your Be Sure car insurance. But that's overdoing it, Bob.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Yeah. Hey, Bob, you're on family vacation. Oh, but your daughter's got the measles. But don't worry about it. With your Be Sure travel insurance, Children under 12 are covered for free.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Yeah, for free.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas really easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation, that's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
That bucket has superpowers. Powers? It makes people suddenly appear. Really?
You appeared
It makes people suddenly appear.
at the right time.
Festive feast from KFC. The taste that brings everyone together. So good.
I'm feeling funny, man. I feel like I'm getting a pain in my chest.
I got this.
You sure?
Yes. It's 30 breaths and 2 compression. Give her air.
Oh, Monique, look, she waking up.
No, Fernand. It is not 30 breaths and 2 compressions. It is 30 compressions and 2 breaths. CPR can be done in 3 simple steps. Step 1, check and call. Step 2, press down or pump. Step 3, blow.
I got it now. It's 30 compression and 2 breaths.
Yes.
Right. CAB.
It was asked, how about the advice of the General Audit Chamber? Is that already received, and what is being done with it? We indeed sent the financials of the political parties earlier this year to the General Audit Chamber, and meanwhile we have received a reaction by the General Audit Chamber, although the Electoral Council still has to go through the advice of the General Audit Chamber. At this point in time, I can only tell you that the General Audit Chamber has also concerns with regards to the costs of the whole process that we have in our law, and with regards to the accountability by a registered accountant. That is something that they put forward. So that's the thing that I can already tell you, that it has of course then also our concern, and we will have to take a standpoint on that also with amidst all the other advices that the General Audit Chamber has given to us. Then we will come back to the issue about the letter that was given to you. We understand that it's a bit complicated letter, and actually it's primarily also something that has to be dealt with by the Central Voting Bureau. Yes. Then the Honourable Member of Parliament, Mr. Lloyd Richardson, had a few questions for us. And what is the reason for the existence of the Electoral Council? Actually, I already give an answer to that by reminding you what is stated in the national ordinance in execution of Article 55 of our Constitution, and there it is laid down that apparently we need this independent body in order to ensure that we have a transparent system in place, and also that we will have a situation that we will prevent conflicts of interest as much as possible in the execution of that ordinance. Then the requirements of the political parties. The law states that political parties in this country are parties that are registered as such by the Electoral Council. That's the new thing that we have officially in place since 10-10-10. And it's not just any entity that can be registered as a political party. The law states that it must be an association. And unfortunately, that means that one organization that already existed could not be registered as it was a foundation. And we cannot register foundations. It have to be associations. The articles of association need to comply with a number of requirements in the National Ordinance. Article 15 lists them. Quite a number of them are regular requirements for associations and not so very special, but others are more specific, and that's then we come to a situation that we, as a Electoral Council, have sent a number of parties back to the notary office in order to improve those articles of association so that they also comply with the requirements of the law. If everything else is in order, nothing will withstand the registration of the parties. We only ensure that they pay for the publication of their articles of association, which is also necessary by law, and that is actually the final part of the registration process for the political parties. The timely compliance, if there is the parties do not comply timely with the requirements, then they will not be registered. If a new party comes with its request for registration, we will then have 3 weeks to look into the situation and have a meeting with the party in order to go through their application and see where there are still flaws that need to be addressed. Then they have they get 7 days after they have been instructed which improvements they need to apply to their application, and that's give us another period of 3 weeks to give a decision if that comes back. For the party, the time frames are very strict, because it's for them it's within that 7 days they have to come back with the improvements. For the electoral council is different because that's more is time frame of order. So we still have to do things timely, which is then within 3 weeks. But if it's for some reason not done within the 3 weeks, it does not mean that the application is invalid or something or that our decision, eventual decision, is not valid.
So what's your idea of holiday happiness? Watching the kids open presents? Cooking in our new kitchen? The look on his face. Add to your holiday happiness with a loan from Scotiabank, and you could win a trip for 2 to Miami and other great prizes. Visit your Scotiabank branch today and talk to a representative about getting your loan. Contest ends January 15th. Conditions apply. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
National Ordinance on Registration and Finances of Political Parties was once discussed in this hall before. I remember at a time that I urged the members of Parliament to go and do their homework and to go and check and see what the law says exactly. And I want to remind everyone again that the Electoral Council, which was only established in 2014, while the law was already established in 10-10-10, the Electoral Council that was only established at that time had a tremendous task to start not only setting up everything, but preparing for the upcoming election. Parties can register any and every time, not only in elections here. But why do we give deadlines, as Mr. Hoffman just explained, is to let people know if you want to participate in a certain election, you have a certain time to be able to participate, so you have to register your party. The Electoral Council did not make the law. Let us make that very clear. We are just there to execute this law. And we were not put together by any political party, but by a nomination committee that consists of the president of the Court of Justice of Aruba, Curaçao, Bonaire, St. Martin, and the islands, the other Dutch islands, Dutch Antillean islands, by the Advisory Council, and by the General Audit Chamber. In other words, as independent as possible, not to be influenced by any political party. And so sometimes when I hear, and we hear, people questions the raison d'etre of the Electoral Council, it is very painful because the people you see sitting here And this is not even the complete group, because you might have read in the papers that 2 other members have left the Electoral Council. But people sitting here oftentimes give up their time and the energy to try and bring some kind of transparency in the electoral process of this country. This law, this national ordinance, is also a sort of electoral reform. It was not there before. It's also a sort of electoral reform. But is it respected by the politicians and by the parties? We have enough headache trying to get parties to respect and to follow this one. You know, papier is geduldig. Paper has a lot of patience. And often people put things on writing and put things down, but they don't comply with it and don't have the intention of complying with it. I think Mr. Francis said something very good just now when he talked about it depends on the people. There's nothing wrong with the Constitution, but it depends on the people, how it is being executed. It depends on your own mind. We have 10 commandments of God. You're all talking about Moses. Let me tell you something about Moses. Moses received from God the 10 commandments. The 8th commandment, thou shalt not steal. The 10th one,
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, point of order.
I
MP.
wonder if this is
You have to stop.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I wonder if this is the direction we're supposed to go into this.
I'm just making a comparison.
Point of order is clear.
I just want to make a comparison.
Yes, be brief. Thank you.
And it has to do with integrity. We were called here today to discuss election. The Electoral Council we don't decide on elections one way or the other. We just prepare the parties and we finish with that. Our process is finished. And we don't want to be played out either by one party or the other. So we were called here today, and we're not very happy with some of the answers of the Electoral Council, because we cannot give answers to many of the questions that were asked. And some of the questions that were asked by some of the politicians, they know it. It's in here. When you're going to ask several questions about how much money you need to get it, so you should have known it because you should be following that law since last year.